Get on my level, Philip.
I'm on a sleepy level.
You need to get on my level, man. You need to go to that group and you need to talk about Sasquatch because I just knocked it out of the or about UFOs and aliens. I just knocked it out of the park on Sasquatch. They kept me late.
That's impossible. Sasquatch isn't even real.
Dude, you weren't at my talk. It's clear.
Man, you would have converted me. And then next thing you know, I'm getting a Sasquatch tattoo on my.
In his talk, he acknowledged aliens.
Oh,
I did.
okay.
Well,
No.
I acknowledged that we could have a discussion.
Let me tell you what he did, Philip. He said, why would we limit ourselves to the belief that God has done with creating things when there are things out there that we have yet to discover? So is it possible that God created Sasquatch? And when people like nodding their head because there are other things we haven't yet discovered, he gave a bridge to the possibility
Preach.
that could also be intelligent life.
Preach.
I did, but I spoke about the fact that it is. I didn't get into the in depth about the fact that I think it's fairly clear that we're the only planet with intelligent life. But that's another conversation we can have.
He didn't say that. He didn't say that. I was there.
Man, I feel like that could have been the best sermon you've ever given.
I did a pretty good job. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm usually not feeling good about it, but I had women coming up to me as we were walking out. They were telling me, you know what? I'm in. I'm getting the book.
Eastlake Community Church is an intentional, multicultural community empowered by the Holy Spirit. We passionately pursue a loving relationship with God and everyone Jesus was sent to die for, here, near, and far.
Michelle's having trouble getting in, apparently. She told me she was logging out and logging back in.
Well, we all know Michelle's got sin in her life. There she is. Speak of the devil.
I got a very nice card from her mom. You ever gotten one of those?
Nope.
I got one today. It's very nice.
Michelle,
Hi. Oh, my background's really messy.
were you having a problem logging on to our Zoom call?
Yes,
Were
nobody.
you
would-
acting like a
Yeah.
boomer?
Thank you.
That's okay.
Oh my goodness, my office is a mess. Yeah.
People,
You're coming in filled because you just got that Sasquatch excellence.
Yes, I did. I wish somebody would have cleaned up my office for me while I was. Yeah.
is
Anyway,
that your office at the house or the office at the office?
the office at the house. The office at the office is easy to make look good in a short amount of time. I don't even have my lipstick on. See, it's
Guys,
just terrible.
Michelle is
So
so
got up in the Sasquatch discussion that she couldn't get out on time.
that
Yeah.
was true.
Michelle's so important that she has 2 offices, guys.
Here we go.
I do too.
I bet you Michelle doesn't even mow her own lawn. I bet she just like walks outside and snaps her fingers and people start functioning.
Oh, that would be nice.
Michelle,
Yeah. That would.
I'm just gonna do this. I'm not involved in this conversation
Okay.
of tearing down my sister.
yeah, Michelle and Rob are friends now that Rob preached on Sasquatches at Michelle's event.
Well, there's that.
I feel left out. I feel like I could look like a Sasquatch.
Well, there was some discussion and a question about aliens, which, to be fair, Rob said you would have to have Philip come in and talk about.
I said, "You're
I
up.
heard-
You're next."
You know what? Bring it.
Can
I-
you speak historically about him? Because
I'm like Lee Strobel with
Okay.
Case for Christ, but it's Case for Aliens.
good. Good.
Uh,
What are the top 3 alien stories in the ethos of alien discussions?
Well, one would be my own personal experience. Have I told you guys that?
Yep. Yeah. No. The top 3 historical, because I had my own experience. I shared.
No, I'm in history books, family books. Families told the stories.
I'm on a website.
You know what?
Oh, I had a show. Oh my goodness.
If there was okay, I got this. If there was a battle between aliens and Sasquatches, like aliens versus Sasquatches, who would win? Aliens.
One of them's real, one of them isn't. So
What's the Sasquatch gonna do? Like talking his Squatch language? And
Well,
alien's
see,
gonna
that
be like
just
laser
goes to
beam
show-
to the face, boom.
You don't even know what a Sasquatch
aliens have laser beams. You don't know any of that.
Michelle, you are spot on. Philip wouldn't even call the alien. He didn't call the alien. I mean, the Sasquatch
No.
right. He did the wrong call.
Yeah. There's a particular call for a Sasquatch.
Oh, there
Everybody
is.
talk to do a Sasquatch call. So you're gonna lose this. You might.
The
prove
only
aliens
thing
are-
I know is you're not supposed to show a Sasquatch your teeth. So the aliens would be like,
Why are you not supposed to?
Just like primates, it's a show of aggression. I didn't get into that, but I had it in my notes. You saw how much I talked about. Philip, you got to go watch it before you talk.
I'm gonna go do my homework.
We do have an opening in the spring because I just had to move somebody from the
I
spring.
would love to talk to them about aliens and just crush it. Just be like, listen, people.
Now, what was the best part about my talk? Right? Because I will tell you, what was I humble enough to admit?
The best talk, I mean, the best part of your talk to me was two things. Is when you built a bridge to the possibility of intelligent life. And the second one was the Sasquatch call, man. I was not ready for that. I was not ready.
How does the Sasquatch call, Rob? Just please give it to
You
us.
come. You can come.
How does the Sasquatch? All right, I need
there,
an
man.
impersonation.
No, Philip. I'm telling you, I was okay with Rob's talking till he said one thing. It was one thing he said that I just lost it. I couldn't hold myself anymore. I had to use the bathroom in the chair I was in. He said wood booger. He said,
Oh,
That's what they call them. That's what they call them. In Tennessee, Arkansas, Alabama, and North Georgia.
call them
Wood
wood
booger?
wood
Now,
booger,
let's be
man.
fair. Let's be fair. Philip, since you weren't there, I did a decent job laying out the broad perspective of Sasquatch across the world.
and Philip, I did do a live. It is not the very best video quality. We should have set up a light for Rob.
It's
You
just
gotta
a
watch
good-
it because
You can
I'm
hear
into
the Sasquatch call on the live if you
We're
know.
gonna need a timestamp. We're gonna need a timestamp so we can jump to that call, so we don't have to listen to all the
no,
blasphemy.
good. No. Now you're getting a little offensive. Was it a good presentation? Was it a good presentation?
It was a good. People said they really enjoyed it.
There was a lot of feedback on that presentation.
I'm sorry. If you ever utter that from the stage, I am leaving the room because I cannot contain myself.
Wood
Like I said,
boogers?
I was
Dude,
given the names of Sasquatch in the U.S.
I was
So
not
the
ready
name
for that.
of the Sasquatch in the U.S. is Wood Booger?
No, in Tennessee, in Arkansas, in North Alabama, and in North Mississippi, and they call him a wood booger. I'm gonna leave. I'm out.
Okay, so I don't know, y'all.
I heard of that. Just that name.
Oh, I need to wave a white flag. That's all I can say. I work with this every day in, day out. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All I could think whenever I heard Wood Booger was the name of like a heavy metal band or something.
I didn't say it was a good name. That's just what they historically call Sasquatch
Oh,
in those regions.
oh,
Oh,
you
okay.
guys are amazing.
I thought it was an oversized aquatic animal that builds, wood nests.
Oh, that's a wood. That's probably like a wood otter.
That's a beaver.
Otter.
For the people that are just tuning in right now, what are they thinking? Like, what's going through the?
I'll tell you what they're thinking. They're thinking, why does anyone let these 4 people pastor?
I will tell you this. I'll get invited back.
I think you already were.
Oh, it's a sad. No, that's just Kristen out in the backyard.
I'll get it back.
Oh, man. So,
You guys are funny. Well, this is good because this series we intentionally with this series, which is called Family Game Night, we intentionally went a little light because Church of Tove was a little heavy. It was like a hammer to the face.
Kick my butt.
It was like a Bible to the face on the corner of Main and Broadway.
Good.
But it was great. It was great. But this series is light, and Connect 4 is a light game, and that's why we're talking about wood boogers. And that's also why I came up. I did a big time Google search for a fun game for us to play. I have a game.
oh dear.
The competition in this team is strong. Now, one of the things Rob talked about on Sunday that was just downright offensive was that he said, I'm not good at games, even though I talk a big game. And,
Oh, you're right. He did.
I'm about to prove that wrong. I'm going to
Okay,
come out.
well, hold on. Let me just get a caveat.
I'm coming in.
It's going to know how to play the game because you made it up.
Don't worry about the details, guys. I'm out. I got this. This is actually a perfect example of what Rob was talking about. Just talk. That's what I do. I just talk, get people riled up. All right, here we go. So this game, by the way, welcome to the podcast, everybody. This is a place where you can express your feelings in the comment section as long as they're appropriate and non-offensive. And if you have something to contribute to the conversation, please type it in and we'll do our best to get back to you as soon as possible. All right, here we go. Time for the game. What we're going to do is, this is just I forgot the game. I had to read my directions I wrote down, but I got them. I just remembered.
Okay.
This is more just a question. This is just for fun. This is a get to know you. What we're doing, guys, is we're connecting to each other. I feel distant from you, and I would like to get closer. So here we go. Yeah, it's like ET phone home. So here we go. What you have to go show us, you have to go grab it. What is in the pocket of your winter jacket, if there is anything, or your hoodie?
The South.
Do we have to take you with us?
Philip,
This game, you know what? This game is stupid.
Philip, I haven't unpacked my winter jacket since I moved here.
Well, that's not true. I actually found a lipstick in a.
Don't take that back. I unpacked it to go on the ski trip, but it's backpacked.
Okay. Well, if Michelle found lipstick, then that means her mom is online saying, well, why didn't you put it on, Michelle? Michelle.
Patty, thank you for the kind note about the way I interact on the podcast. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, that question was stupid. I didn't even want to ask that question anyways. Here's the question number 2. What is in the room in which you sit the thing that you've had the longest?
Oh my.
This is show and tell. This is get to know. I'm connecting with you guys because I feel distant. What is the thing you've had the longest?
Okay.
And then we're going to have to tell the story. We're going to all tell the story. This is a great way to connect with people. I'm feeling very mischievous today.
Oh no, that's not it.
It's because of the bunk cakes that Miss K brought by today. I had too much sugar. All right. What do we got?
I have 2 things.
Okay, Michelle. This is show and tell. It can only be one. It has to be the longest.
Well,
Which one have you had the longest?
Longest.
Michelle's trying to hijack the show and tell conversation. How rude. Ray's still digging. What's he doing? Like looking for taxes? What's Ray doing?
You have those in the drawer.
Something else. But then I remembered I had this that I just put up, so I'm better now.
Yeah, I got something.
All right. Let's see. We'll go ladies first. So Michelle, we would love to hear about, what is it? The pen that you've had the longest or the mug?
It's the mug. It's
No.
it's metal. It's metal and it's very old. I don't know how old. I'm taking out all the pens to see if there's a
A
marking.
lead mug?
Yeah.
That's a horrible idea.
It
That's horrible.
That's why it has pens in it. I'm not drinking from it.
Yeah, I bet she
It
gnaws
has
on lead
pins in
paint
it.
for fun, and she's like chewing on paint chips.
Yeah. So I have always loved antique things since I was even in elementary school.
Wow.
And in elementary school, I needed a pencil cup for my desk, and this was my pencil cup. Because we sat at these desks that like had 3 sides and you faced in. I went to this little private school. And this was my pencil mug from grade school.
That's still your pencil mug from grade school?
Yeah.
That is legit old. Okay, Michelle
There you
probably
go.
went.
I've had that a long time.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What about you guys? Rob, do you have something old? What's
I'm second guessing myself because I'm going to show you the 2 options. Because
Okay.
honestly, so it's either this, which I'll explain to y'all if it's what I pick, or it's that picture on the wall right there.
Ooh.
So I think they're about the same time.
Well, tell us
Okay.
about the truck since it's in your hand.
So this truck, so my dad worked for Central Vermont Public Service. My dad had worked at an antique shop up until my junior year of high school. Finally got a job, worked his way up from the mailroom to become a meter tester at CVPS. Now, sadly, he would lose the job years later for drunk driving. But in 1990, he was the Safe Driver of the Year. And he gave me this about the same time I got that picture of my alma mater where I graduated from college. They were both about 94 that I got them. And I can't remember if this came before that.
Wow.
So it
That's
was like
cool.
right when Jenny and I were getting married, I got this and that.
That's pretty cool. I like that. See, this is a good game. Wow. Thank you, Google.
Every time I look at it, though, I'm gonna be honest. I'm reminded that you can go from this, like the award winner, to the bottom of your barrel,
Yeah.
your eye off the ball. That's why I keep it. That's actually one of the reasons I keep it here because I can look at it and I can remember fondly my father. And then it's a warning. It's a sign of warning.
Mhm.
Yep. That's good. What about you, Ray? You got anything old in there? Now when I
Yeah, I
see your
got
hoodie,
some
Ray, I
things
see
that's
Destiny's Child.
This is a CD
Magic
called
Records.
Magic Mike it's called This Is How It Should Be Done. And this is actually something that came out in 1993. And Michelle, since you brought up last week about my love for bass, one of my vehicles had a lot of speakers in it.
Yeah.
And so I would put the CD in and I would literally rattle the entire neighborhood.
He's been doing this since he was young.
Yeah.
I
Wow.
have 90. This was the year after I graduated high school.
Wow. That's crazy, man. That's crazy.
I did have
Well,
some bacon candy too.
Bacon candy. Old bacon candy.
That old?
Bacon candy that looks like peppermints.
Okay.
I can't even imagine. That's crazy. Okay, so that's the thing.
1993 is more like 2010.
All right,
All right,
Philip,
here-
what are you picking?
Oh, you want me to do one? I can do one. I got this, but I gotta get my tiny dog who is
Oh, there's
she
Abby.
is weeping in my lap.
Oh,
I'm
there
gonna
she-
set her down.
okay.
I'll go get something. Hang on.
I
Hang
mean,
on.
you could just pan the room. He lives in an old thing.
He does.
Yeah.
So, oh.
This right here
Okay.
is made in Tacoma, Washington.
Come on.
Hey,
Come on.
and this was the first big purchase that me and Kristen made after we were married. I had done a whole summer of summer camps leading worship, and I
Okay.
had a little bit of money left over at the end, and we decided we would buy this together. And then Spencer was born, and he threw a truck, and he chipped it right here.
Oh, geez.
But I've had this guitar for 20 plus years.
Wow.
Yep, that's my oldest thing. Okay, I got one more question for you guys.
Okay.
And I can't answer this one. This one's all on you guys. A book that you did not enjoy.
Oh.
Ooh.
Not to keep them.
This is a book you did not enjoy.
Oh, this is down in my garage. I don't have to go get it. I know it.
You know it.
Yes.
All right, what is it, Ray? Because everybody's gonna go
Systematic
Amazon it.
Theology.
What?
Systematic Theology by Wayne Grudem.
Systematic theology.
I loved that book.
Why did you not like systematic theology?
It was dry and long.
It
Textbook.
was. It was.
There are also good textbooks too, Rob.
It
I
was
didn't
dense.
dislike that book. I didn't dislike that book. I liked Moody's systematic theology book better, but to be honest, I didn't enjoy.
Yeah, that sounds pretty dry.
Yeah.
All right, a book you did not enjoy. Ray went. What do you guys got?
I'm looking on Goodreads and Kindle to see what I have said.
You know, 1984.
Ooh.
A lot of people like that book. I just found it. That and Animal Farm. Everybody talks about Red Animal Farm. One bad, horrible books.
Okay.
Really?
Why were they horrible?
I just didn't like it. I just didn't. 1984. I can't even put my finger on it.
I didn't even know anything about these
You like
things.
1984?
Yeah, you would have read that. You had to read that to get out of high school, Philip. You would have read that.
No, I only read one book in school. One book.
Well, you faked your way out then.
You know what I did? I read Robinson Crusoe in middle school, and every time they asked for a book report, I did a book report on the same book. It was genius.
Really? But 1984 is kind of like required reading, even now.
I barely made it out of high school, guys. I'm lucky to be here right now. I don't even know why you hired me.
I knew I had a list somewhere.
My
Um,
mom would tell you that I figured out just how to get through everything, and she would say, this is my mom because she loved me. She would say that I was so smart that I figured out the secret hack to get out of school without doing a whole lot of work. I never took anything at face value. I'd be like, oh, so you mean we can skip 6 days a semester? Noted. And so I would skip all 6 days, but I wouldn't skip 7. I just skip 6. And I find out that they call your parents after 3. So I'd be like, all right, is it worth it? Because they're going to call my parents tonight. And it's like, nothing going on this weekend. Let's skip. Oh, I was awful. It was awful. But then as I got older, my mom, she just loved me. But she'd be like, Philip, you just figured out you just knew what you were doing. Like I wasn't making good grades, but I was smart enough to figure out the hacks. I was a good hack.
You're a good hack.
Yeah. Okay. This game is lame. Wait, Michelle, you got to do another game.
I don't know what's happening there. Should we get into some content since it's already 20 after 2?
Yeah, let's get into some content.
I'm just throwing it out there.
I just wanted to talk about my feelings. Okay. So, anyways, Rob.
Did you not already do that?
I'm on a
He's in a
roll. I
mood.
can't stop. I can't shut it off.
Okay.
What content?
Okay, so here's the thing. Let's talk about the sermon on Sunday. Rob was teaching, and it was on Connect 4. And the main point really was, and I like this because I can remember this, was we have to connect to God so we can connect to each other. Right? And so, but that sounds like a really simple thing, but there was a lot of great points within it. And one of them was, this to me was like, I always look for the t-shirt statement. I mean, I'm a t-shirt kind of guy, but you said you can go to church and not be a disciple, but you can't be a disciple and not be in community.
Mm.
Woo!
You do it.
Man, if I tweeted, I would have tweeted that. But I don't tweet. But
I would have been all of Twitter.
but let's talk about that. Seriously, let's talk a little bit about that. Why is it that you can't, like, I know what you meant, but I would love for you to kind of lean into that a little
It's
bit.
easy. And I'd love to hear from Michelle and Ray too, because I know they have the same views. For me, discipleship requires community, and discipleship breeds community, because Jesus did not just disciple his disciples in a vacuum. He did it in the context of community. He did it as they walked along the streets, as they encountered people, as they encountered hardship. He was teaching them. He was developing them. They were learning from him. It was never, I mean, never really one-on-one alone for very long. There was some times where they got off alone, but that wasn't the context was drive them back into community so they could impact the people around them. And so I just don't think you can do it. I think you can come to church every week and never be discipled. But once you're discipled, I think you want to be in church every week.
So how can you come to church every week and not be discipled? Like, we all nod our heads, but I guarantee some of our listeners are like, wait, say, huh?
Okay. Are you an athlete if one day a week you go to the gym?
You might consider yourself one. You just may not be a very good one.
Yeah, right. You would call yourself an athlete, maybe, but if you're gonna be training one day a week and you're never going into the game.
Oh, you mean like those people that put on the yoga pants to go to Starbucks looking like they went to work out, but they never even saw the gym?
Yep.
Oh man, that's the worst.
Going to church is great. It's important, but it's an hour of your week.
So Rob, to take that a step further, there are people, and I mean, dare I say, they might even be on here tonight, that as soon as the message is over, they are out the door. They don't stay for the last song. They don't stay for any announcements. They get out. And sad to say that these people feel safest when they're able to remain anonymous, where people don't know them. And so that's not community. If that person was to keel over and die, who would know them? I mean, even if you're single, which that's coming up, if you're not in community and something should happen to you, you're all by yourself. My last corporate America job was working in home care and hospice. One of the greatest privileges and blessings is to be able to stand bedside with someone when they are taking their last breath. Because I don't know anybody that wants to die alone. So if no one really wants to die alone, meaning that they want to be by themselves, no one around, no family, no friends, none of that, then please explain to me, why would you try to live alone?
It's a great point.
Good. And you can't, and the thing about being discipled is it requires a learning lab, which is what relationships are. You know, think about those science classes where you had class and then you had your lab. And it's like the lab is where you flesh it out, where you do the experiment. You go, what happens when I try to open up and be honest about this? Oh, what they said on Sunday is true. I can trust God. I can trust these people. And all of a sudden, then you begin to really live and you begin to really understand what following Jesus is all about. That was what the early church did. They just sat around and they learned together and they ate together and they prayed together and they played together and they,
You know, one of my mentors said that small group, community groups were the lab to go along with the lecture that we heard on Sunday.
I like that.
I like that.
Yeah. And I always appreciated that analogy that she made. And so I think that's true. Now, I have met some committed Christians who have been in a situation where they've been hurt or really disappointed, who are not attending a church because of those hurts, but have not lost their faith. But I want to say every one of them that I know is still made a point to be in community. And so, you know, even like I recognize that there are sometimes things in life that are hard, but you've got to have some sort of relational community.
You do.
Yeah, it would almost be like living in a house with no mirrors. Like you never see yourself. You never, because when we're around others, it kind of, when you're in community, it's a little bit of a mirror. It's a little bit of accountability.
Mhm.
Imagine if you never saw what your hair looked like, or, you never left your like you never saw your, like, there was never an opportunity. You watch these shows like Alone. I love Alone, or Survivor, and they don't see themselves. And then when they do, they're like, it's kind of like that to me, but with community, like when there's people around you, you have to analyze, and you have to think, and you have to relate, and you have to ask questions. And not everybody wants to look in the mirror, but we need to look in the mirror. Yeah. Um, it, what would you say to somebody that says, like, I mean, I think I can say this without, I'm not like speaking about anybody in particular, but this is a pretty normal thing these days. Somebody who, since COVID, doesn't really want to engage with people. Like, is there anything you like there you could, when COVID hit, it was a nice opportunity, it was a nice excuse to introvert. It was like, this is good. Is there anything that you would say, like, steps to take, or what? I mean, I don't know what I just know a lot of people are still doing
Well,
isolation.
I think, my kids are introverted. One of my closest friends is pretty introverted, but they all have valuable relationships.
Yeah.
And so, if there's a difference between being introverted and isolated. Now,
Hmm.
everybody may not be as outgoing as like Rob or Ray, but they still need relationships.
Hmm.
And so, if you are so isolated that you don't have any face to face relationships, I think you have to ask yourself why
Hmm.
and dig into that a little bit. Is there fear? Is there some circumstance that you need God's healing from? Because isolation isn't good for anyone, no matter how introverted they are. Everyone needs people,
Yeah.
just maybe in different amounts.
It's funny. I find that I'm a little bit more of an introvert than people would think. I actually enjoy introverting quite a bit. I spend a lot of time with people, but I regain strength, if you will, whenever I'm alone. A
Mhm.
road trip is like the ultimate for me. Oh, it's
Yeah.
the
Let's
ultimate.
keep in mind, introverted and extroverted isn't the way we've kind of turned it into. Everyone needs time alone.
Yeah.
That's not introverted time. The most extroverted person I've ever met needs time alone,
Yeah.
and the most introverted person I've ever met needs time in the crowd.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's just where do you tend to spend most of your time?
Mhm.
Is I think how that whole thing came out. But the bottom line is this, to answer your question, is I don't think it is sustainable to stay away from a Christian community and to just feed on a video screen, even if it's a live interactive experience.
Mhm.
Everywhere we see the church, and remember, the church isn't Eastlake, the church is the bride of Christ.
Mhm.
Every place we see the bride thriving in the New Testament and throughout history, it requires fellowship that takes place in person.
Mhm.
I know that's hard, and I know that there's probably even people that I've met and I care about around me in my world, about outside of this area, that are still very skeptical about leaving what was the cocoon of COVID because it's scary. I'll tell you, you won't regret the risk because God works in the midst of community. In
Mhm.
person, I can read your body language, I can feel your pain, I can reach out and touch you. Community.
Mhm. Yeah, that's good. So the point on Sunday was we have to connect with God so that we can connect to each other. Why is it valuable to connect with God? Like, why does that matter in our connection to others? Like, why can't we just join a baseball league, an intramural? Is that what they're, frisbee golf team? Like, why do we need to connect, excuse me, to God? I'm asking the question. I think, and it sounds like I really don't know the answer to this, which is it kind of, I don't know. Anyway, please answer. Please answer.
I'll go first and then I'll shut up. When I'm not connected to God, I'm a jerk.
Yeah.
Speaking for myself, I need to be in connection with the God that gives me grace and helps me be patient.
Mm-hmm.
I'm speaking for Rob, not for anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm connected to him, I'm going to love like him, not like me.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to love selflessly.
I think I start to see people as compliments to my life. Not that they're here to make me better, but I see them as complementing my weakness. So it's like completion, if that makes sense. It's like I start to not see somebody different than me as like an opposition. I start to see them as a completion. Completion is probably a better word than compliment. Compliments like you make me, let me use you to elevate myself. I don't mean that. I mean more of like, I need somebody that reads systematic theology around me because I don't, like that's good for me to be in community with somebody that does that because I don't for fun, Yeah. What about you guys? It could be like a personal, like what does it do for you?
There have been days in the office that I have had to excuse myself from the community of my fellow coworkers, not because of my fellow coworkers, but because something was up and coming that I felt like I was insufficiently filled to be able to connect to a group of people or a person that was coming into the office for a meeting. So they know this. I have run home before to run into my prayer closet and literally get before the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And that is so that I would not say or do things that will be harmful to the people that I work with, as well as harmful to the people that I'm supposed to be giving my time, my attention, my talents, and sometimes wisdom to, who are seeking help. And so it's only right that we would go to God, because some of us go to other things. You fill in the blank. What is your go-to when you're stressed or when you're tired? And don't go to the extreme, because some people just go to sleep. There's nothing wrong with going to sleep, laying down and taking a nap. I mean, if you're a young mom on here, you tell your kid you need a nap. And that's exactly what they need. I've come home from church before and told my wife, you need a nap. Then she go to sleep. She go bye-bye. But my point is, being before the Lord actually helps me to get some perspective and prayerfully some wisdom, so that I have something to give to whomever it is that I'm to be in front of next. So
yeah. I can remember when my kids were younger, and they were more demanding of me, they just needed more. They were my connection, and I can remember, and my job was demanding, and I would take 5 to 10 minutes in the car before I'd even come in, just to connect to God and offload some things. Like, God, these things are really a lot to me, but when I walk through the door, I want to not be about those things. I don't want our dinner conversation to be about the stuff that I'm stressed about. I want to give that to you, God. I want to connect to you, God. And I want my dinner conversations to be about them and what's going on in their lives. And it would do that. But that might help you guys too. People who are listening who have a difficult coworker or maybe a torn relationship that they're struggling through right now. But instead of writing those people off and disconnecting and just running, go to God first before you connect with them, and let God be your filter as you connect with them. Yeah. Did I leave you out, Michelle? Were you about to drop a bomb of wisdom and I just cut you off?
You did not cut me off. I didn't have anything to say till you were just talking.
Oh.
And, you know, I think that's really important when things are difficult in your marriage or if you're divorced, that you need to go to God and offload that stuff. You may even need to have a counselor or a trusted friend, but where you're not taking the problems from that primary relationship that is so hurting to the family dinner table. I mean, I can remember difficult times in my life when something would happen and I would need to talk to God or call a mentor before my kids came home, because I was like, I don't want to show up for my kids with this anger, sadness, frustration, you know, whatever it was. And so I think that's a really important point, whether it's work stress or relational stress. We have to have a place to put that where it doesn't impact other people and when it's not their fault.
Yeah. The beauty of this sermon to me was that it was so simple, and really the one before, that's what I'm really liking about this series, that you guys, and I say you guys and myself included, we can implement this. So find an area in your life right now, I'm saying this to our listeners, that you need to implement this connection with God before you connect with people, and implement this. Make sure you're connecting to people. It's so easy, but it's also so easily overlooked. I mean, it's not a hot topic. Nobody's going around like, you don't feel. It's an easy one for you to go through life and think, I'm good, but really you're missing out, Yeah. Were you going to say something, Rob? You had wisdom to drop.
Well, I was gonna. Well, it was a little bit of a turn, and I think you were gonna go there. But so after we've connected with God, this idea of connecting with people, one of the comments I've gotten over the years, especially with parents and students in student ministry, is, Rob, how do I find places to connect with people outside of the church? Like, we'll stand on stage and we'll talk about how we need to get involved in community and we need to love the community around us. And people are kind of like, well, what am I supposed to do? Go sign up for a new club, or what am I supposed to do? And I was thinking about, once we've connected with God, I think he shows us the places we're already connected to people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I use this example in our discussion today in teaching team. I'm wearing this Dutch Fort jersey, and I'm really proud of this Dutch Fort jersey, and it's weird. Jenny says, she's like, I totally get it. Like, this is the staff band jersey, and they got me one. And it got me thinking about that community that I'm a part of. And how did I get part of that community? I wasn't a creepy dude that walked in off the street and said, hey, can I get really involved with your band just because I want to? No. I went and got connected into people that my son already brought us to.
Mm-hmm.
So my point is, God's going to show you who you've already been connected to that you're supposed to invest in without agenda.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be, you brought up, when your kids were younger, if your kids are involved in X, in soccer, there's the community waiting for you right there to embrace them and to show them the love of Jesus just through the way that you act. Mm-hmm. So I would say community, we make it so hard. Like, how am I going to do that? Well, look around where you don't even have to go make new community. They're there. You just haven't gone deeper in your connection to them. Like, it took us 2 years, and we finally dipped our toe in the water, and we said, how can we be more part of what's happening here with this band? Because we were already connected to it. I guarantee if you were to sit down right now, everyone watching this, and write down places you're connected to people, you'd have 5 or 6. But you might be saying, well, I'm not connected to anybody. 5 or 6 people. Work, school, club, they're there.
They're there. Yeah. Yeah. And you might be really shocked at how many connection points you have. And if you go through and you're trying to make a list and you're thinking, there aren't any, well, then that could kind of be a red flag of like, okay, maybe I need to invest in other people and put myself out there and get around other people. I like it. So I thought this would be fun too. Just because so Rob's sermon was on Connect 4, and there's 4 of us on this little Zoom thing that we're doing here. And I thought it'd be cool to just say, just like us converse, how do we connect to each other?
Mm.
Like,
Ooh.
what's our connection? People might think that's interesting. I don't know. It might be not interesting, but like, how do we connect to each other?
I think we do it lots of ways. I feel like this in itself was a really good connection that added to our relationship as staff when we
Mhm.
started doing this podcast. Because
Yeah.
we just get on here and share, and there's not a big agenda, and there's not, I mean, we have topics, but so actually this is one way.
Yeah. That's cool.
I think another way that we connect to one another is that I believe. Now this is me saying what I believe. I believe we actually do see each other as brothers and sisters, and so that means we have a common kinship. And so as we realize that, we actualize it through how we relate to one another. So, Michelle may come in and say, I'm not feeling really good today, guys. And we'll stop and pray, or we'll ask, hey, how can we help? Rob may be feeling stressed about something that's about to happen. And so Rob will send out a text to our group text, and everybody on the group text will pray. Or someone to say, hey, I got some leftover something or another, and I'm bringing it tomorrow. And how about you bring this? And somebody else say, I'll pick up that. And then before long, we have lunch with everyone together. And then I think we make it a point, not just in the format of the podcast, but even when we go to prayer on Tuesday mornings, our prayer time starts off with basically us celebrating together. It'd be easy to make it seem like the 7 sayings of a graces that are on that wall outside of the worship center are just good ideas. But it's different when you actually intentionally put them into practice, and you do it in the context of a community / a kinship, where it's not where you have to think about it. You
Mhm.
do it because that's what the rhythm of life requires you to do.
Yep.
Life requires that you share it with other people. Life requires that you cover people that you care about.
Mhm.
Life requires that you celebrate. You have a birthday coming up, an anniversary coming up. We celebrate with one another regularly.
Mhm.
We consider one another. We were thinking about Rob as he was talking about Sasquatch today, and he may have thought we were poking fun at him or laughing at him,
Oh, that was
but he was
cracking me
giving
up.
us stuff. He was giving us stuff to look up. So Laura and I was sitting in the back of the room, actually Googling and sharing with each other what we're finding. And then when we're not doing good, we lift each other up. I mean, there's just so many things that we do to stay connected to one another. And this is where the hard part comes in. When one of us is either under attack, whether spiritually or physically, we grieve with one another.
Mhm.
It's
And
true.
what makes it even harder is when we're not able to be together.
Mm.
Even when we go away for vacation, I'll be the first to admit, I don't like it when people go away on vacation, because that person, what they bring is not there. It's not like they leave somebody there or a spirit of them there
Yeah.
to keep things going. If we're 4 tires on a vehicle, yeah, we can run with 3. It won't look pretty. It won't be easy, but we can make it work.
Yeah.
But that's how connected we are.
That's true. Yeah.
Look at how connected my dog is right now.
I
But,
think
Camera
Yeah,
on your dog.
yeah, my dog is asleep right outside this window, man.
you know what that makes me want to do so bad. This is mischievous of me. I'm not gonna do this, by the way, but I'm just gonna streak Rob's backyard and be like,
Oh my god. Well, Ray, you hit on it because it's so weird.
Oh, man, Philip.
Rob's like, what is that?
I wouldn't video it.
Somebody change the subject.
No, I was saying, the thing that people don't realize is all of us, to some degree or another, with whatever platform that we're comfortable on. We message with each other, TikToks or Instagrams or just text messages with funny memes and pictures, and it's just normal, natural interactions
Yeah.
keep us connected. And we don't have a ton in common when you look at the list of things.
Yeah,
When
we
it-
probably
I mean,
don't.
this is what I love about, in the passage I read where they were together and they had everything in common, it's not talking about the things that the people think are important. What we have in common is everything Ray just said. We're committed to relationship with each other and to a spiritual battle that we're in together and that God has led us together for.
Hmm.
We have different sports teams, we have different music tastes, we have different backgrounds, we have different things we desire, we have different personalities. But this is the closest group of people I've ever worked with.
Hmm.
This 4 here plus Malcolm and Laura and Leah and on, everyone else that we have around us on staff. It's pretty cool. Jeff, I mean, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. I think we got given a gift. God, of course, God knew what he was doing, but like we were all relatively new. And then Michelle was kind of the person who'd been here for a while, which was crucial.
Well, Michelle and Leah, and let's make sure that we put them together. Michelle,
Yeah.
Leah, and Laura.
Yeah, I was just going off of this 4, but you're right. Yeah, but like, and then just a few months after I got here, COVID hit. And so we were kind of all like stuck in a think tank. I mean, we were basically like in an escape room. Like we just had to figure it out, and
The best illustration yet. An
yeah,
escape room.
yeah. And the gift was that we did it together, and it forced us to maybe build relationships stronger, like as if we had worked together for years and years and years, when really we had all kind of been thrown into this situation together. So it really was a gift from God. And I think God knew what he was doing. I don't think I know. But it's pretty cool to see that. So that's kind of how we connect to each other.
Well, and I just want to say that I think anybody in a small group can do that. People in families can do that.
Mhm.
I feel like when our group chat's been quiet a while, somebody will pop something in there and get the conversation started. And it's not the same person every time. And
Mhm.
so, if you're hearing us talk and you're like, man, I'd like that. I wish I could, you can create that. You have to
Ooh.
decide to do it, but you can begin to create that for yourself. And so, if that's something missing in your life, then go be that person and get that started with a group that you're involved with.
Oh, that's the best advice ever. I love that. Because a lot of people think, well, I'm going to go attach myself to such and such group because I like what they have. Well, maybe they already have a thing and you need to go create your own thing with other people who are desiring connection as well.
Yeah.
I find that to be true so often. That's
Yeah.
a good word,
It's like
Michelle.
that episode of Seinfeld when Jerry decides he's going to go get 3 new friends. Or was it Elaine? Elaine goes and gets 3 new friends, and basically she recreates Jerry, George, and Kramer. And she ends up being discouraged because she realizes she already had that connection.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's weird that it's Seinfeld, but I saw that on a friend's page the other day, where it's like, don't go looking to recreate your friendships, embrace the ones you have.
Yeah. That's cool.
You don't need to go find another group. You've got a group somewhere. And again, like you said earlier, Philip, if you don't have anyone around you at all, please know God's got people for you if you would just go and look. And I know that there's a lot that could be there. There could be some wounds there that are causing you to be trepidatious. I'm sensitive to that. But don't do this alone. We're not supposed to do this alone.
Mhm.
Right.
Yep. And if you struggle, well, we're probably getting too deep. But if you struggle to make connections and you're sitting there saying nobody wants to connect, well, maybe it would be important to do the work with a counselor or something to figure out if maybe you're a toxic person in the relationship, and maybe there's
Yeah.
something going on there. I'm not trying to be rude, but like there are some people that are like, I don't have any connections, or I get some and then they fall. Well, at least ask the questions, do the work to see if maybe there's a toxicity that you're bringing in that's causing people to avoid you. I hate to, that's a whole topic in itself, but
But I think that's that's a good thought. And it doesn't even mean, I mean, you may not be a toxic person in relationship, but maybe you just didn't grow up in something that allowed you to form healthy relationships. You don't know how to relate to people. You don't understand your own emotions. I mean, that's why I run the class, Emotionally Healthy Relationships and Emotionally Healthy Spirituality. And so, you know, we teach concrete skills. And I have people in there all the time that are like, I don't know how to be in touch with my feelings. I don't know. And they're not toxic. They just didn't grow up in a family that nurtured that. And they need to learn skills so that they can develop good friendships. So, you know, there are lots of ways to go about connecting with people if you struggle.
That's good.
But
That's
put the
really
work
good.
in because it's worth it. It's worth
Yeah.
it to find community.
Yeah. God, that's good stuff, guys. I'd listen to you at least once a week. Like Wednesday nights at 8:30, probably I would listen to you guys. But other than that, not much.
Mm.
Maybe the occasional Sunday.
Maybe the occasional.
Oh my word. You guys-
All right, guys, before we close out our time here, let's just remind people of stuff that's coming up. I know we need candy or something like that. I heard.
We need candy. Fallapalooza is next Wednesday, the 26th. And so we're taking candy donations to add to what people will already bring for each of their vehicles.
Mhm.
Bring us some candy.
And if you are a lady, we are going to judge the costume contest at Fallapalooza. And I still have a few spots for ladies who might like to come and hang out with me and Sherilyn and some other ladies from Eastlake and judge the costumes. So email me and let me know if you'd like to do that.
Like it.
Guys, in 2 weeks, the men's retreat is happening. So you need to go on eastlakeonline.com events, search for the men's retreat, and get signed up so that they know how much food and stuff to buy. It's going to be a great time up in Gatlinburg. You're going to get the fall colors. And if the weather holds like it is right now, you might even see a bear or 2 or 3.
That's my
Yeah.
favorite part about those retreats. That and the Jesus stuff. But the bears, man.
Yeah, that Jesus stuff.
Jesus stuff. But the bears, man.
Yeah.
Don't forget Sue's chili.
Oh yeah. That's
Oh,
right. She does
yes.
make us some chili. I like it. All right, guys, we're gonna sign off, and I'm gonna go try to run through Rob's backyard one more time before.
I would not recommend it, man. We haven't cleaned up the farm for a while, so.
Oh,
All right, we'll see you guys later. We're signing off. Bye.
right. Bye.
Eastlake Community Church is an intentional, multicultural community empowered by the Holy Spirit. We passionately pursue a loving relationship with God and everyone Jesus was sent to die for, here